player that ever walked this earth.
No.
Who that was? They did that in 88, 87.
He wasn't the face of the league. It was still guys that were still
playing.
playing. There was still two guys
He was the face of the league. How they got your TV deal. You know, the one that they changed all the rules for. They changed all the rules for, you know, when Nike went from the wings to the nigga like this, that guy. You remember this guy? You remember that guy?
What year did they do that? What year did they do that?
How many championships did they have? Okay.
93 they did that. 93 he became the league.
No, that's what you want to say, because so you can have your narrative. The NBA in 88, 87, this is the new nigga. We're going to push him. He went from the wings to his own logo. GQ article, best player that ever walked this earth. Not the best player in the league, ever walked this earth. Magic. Bird was complaining. How was he the face of the league? How are you pushing?
But what about NBA YoungBoy? What about NBA YoungBoy 2022 when he was the face of the league? What about NBA YoungBoy? What about NBA YoungBoy though? They ain't gonna talk about. They gonna say anything about Jordan, Larry Bird, Pippen, but they ain't gonna talk about NBA YoungBoy in 2022.
Elementary.
Like what?
Okay, man.
LeBron was the face of the league.
And of course he was. Before he won the championship.
On that note,
you know the guy who has, you know, he had what, 2 MVPs.
I believe that too.
Now they all
That's
why I said it's two.
do it.
So the league is pushing, and then you got the players.
Shoes, and all of that.
So on that note, let's keep it moving. But before we go, just gotta appreciate all the love for Gil's Arena. 93% said shot.
I'm definitely losing this game though, right?
We're not worried about that right now. We're wrapping the show up today. So we appreciate all the love. We appreciate all the love for Gil's Arena. On a mission to get to 1 million, I mean a gillion subscribers. Gil's Arena channel is at 906,000 subs strong. We want to get to 1 million.
Okay, it makes
We
sense.
do.
I'm saying you got a great bitch. They go with the hog, man. I do that shit for J Prince. And I do that for the Montage. True first crowd guy.
Thanks to all of you for supporting the movement.
Apologize, man.
Underdog
Hit
get
him up.
$1,000 bonus cash or lucky subscriber every time the channel gains 1,000 subs. So we
That'll
already
go for
gave away
6 months, man, up at my
$2,000 for
place.
901 and 902, but now
So
we
it's
got to
a
give
blind
away
date.
4 more
Raising up the
$1,000.
crime, but your
So here are
name
the
ain't
4
ringing
names
out
that
here.
get
It's a
$1,000
vibrate.
bonus cash. Thanks
Got
to
him out
Underdog
great.
and Gil's Arena.
Now my credit got him out
AB
great.
2324.
Wow.
When I do though,
Trash.
Ville 215. King J 74. And last but not least, and last but not least,
in the drop top
Goon.
bids like it's
Okay,
03.
that makes sense.
Last
Last but not least, Mystic Goon. We
Keep my
appreciate you guys.
nosebleed.
We're at 906,000 subs. We got 94,000 more dollars to give out. So go ahead, subscribe to the Gil's Arena YouTube channel, and make sure you got an Underdog account with the promo code GIL. But we appreciate y'all. Also, make sure you get tickets for our Gil's Arena live show, All-Star Weekend, Thursday and Friday. They are free this Thursday, this Friday. We are going to be in the Bay turning up. We want to see y'all there. But this has been another episode.
Still a call the case, bro, with a state. I've been thugging all life. This is how I play it.
Playback. Shaw got to watch LUKA.
LUKA.
Still got to see the gunners
debut
with
of
from
the
their
LeBron
league.
chick.
I got to keep a
Playback.
gun that's always with me, and I'm
Gilbert.
going to hit him up.
Don't do that. Don't do that. No,
Hit
fuck no, man.
my
Don't do that.
life,
You are bad luck,
was
bro.
great.
Don't do that.
Playback.TV/Gilbert
Arena for our watch party tonight. This has been another episode of Gil's Arena presented by Underdog. We will see y'all tomorrow.
One more time.
Hey, they fucking up in the back.
Welcome, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to LUKA Sports for this and
I'm not Cody got a migraine. Yeah, we do though. Turn me up. Cody, turn me up. Hey, what? Cody, turn me up. Hey, yeah, what? Cody, turn me. Hey, yeah, what? Cody, turn me. Ain't no drop top being like it 03. That is my name down, but I know bleed. I mean, but you always owe me, bitch. Gotta turn me up. Kevin Durant addressing Phoenix trade rumors for the first time. Fuck is this? Damn. Shit.
Go, is he in limbo? What's his connection with the front office? Like all of those things, he's like, it's whatever, but
Kevin Durant addressed the trade rumors publicly for the first time at practice today, and we're going to get into all of that with the perspective of someone who was actually there, because I know everybody's already freaking out about it. Let's get into the show.
Okay. Damn, why Yachty come in like that? Oh my god. It's us. It's us. I took my bottom up my there. You got out here. It was Friday. Down here. That Kevin they park out front and they can see the garage. Look, I ain't talking about man, wait. But in the morning, blank. In the morning, I'll be like
somebody. Show presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app and use code PHNX365 when you sign up to find out why, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. I am your temporary host for today, Gerald Bourget, and joining me for a special Take That for Data edition, can we call it that officially? We got Stephen Pridgeon-Garner. Stephen, how you doing today?
Doing good. I'm slightly annoyed. I had to retire my favorite pair of basketball shoes this weekend.
Oh no, why? They
were done.
No.
It was a wrap. There was no, I can't even walk in them. That's a harsh reality that not enough people speak about. And I mean, I'm living a good life if that's what I'm griping about on the Mondays.
Yeah.
But I acknowledge that, but I'm also very annoyed by it too. So
that is a sad time of years when you have to make
usually about 2 years for me. Yeah.
Okay, 2 years. I once made it through with a pair of basketball shoes for about 5 years, and those were borderline on duct tape sexual at that point. So it was time at that point in time as a poor college kid to make the investment. But we've got a lot to get into onto today's show. Thank you everyone for joining us. Kara, King 3, J Rock, Enslow, Matthew. Thank you everyone for being here. Obviously, the big topic for today is going to be Kevin Durant. He spoke to the media for the first time. We were originally going to talk to Cody Martin and Vasa Micic, but I was glad for the change-up. We got to talk to KD and address all of these trade rumors before he potentially returns tomorrow and goes out and becomes part of the 30K club, which would have been awkward to have all those questions at the same time. So I was glad that he was able to talk with us today. And honestly, I posted one clip from my account, one clip from the PHNX SUNS account, and people are already freaking out over what he was saying. But as someone who was there and was partaking in the 13 minutes that he spoke to the media for, I thought he did about as good a job as you could possibly do in diffusing an awkward situation, an uncomfortable situation, which he probably felt some type of way about. But the way that he handled all of this was really impressive to me, and I think people are going to always look at his body language. They're always going to look for drama when it comes to Kevin Durant. But I do want to preface all of this by saying that we're going to play a lot of clips from his media availability. We're going to post the whole media availability online on YouTube so you guys can watch the whole thing through. Because I really did think that he reaffirmed that Phoenix is where he wants to be and that he understands that this is a business. Were you able to catch any of the clips or any of the information beforehand?
I got to see a couple of clips as I was doing research. What stands out to me is the confidence that he spoke with. He didn't leave any room for ambiguity or, well, he might have missed. No, he was very straightforward with the discernment and really how he dictated with his conversation and assertive with the responses to leave no room for thoughts to creep in because he understands how murky of a situation it's already been. So for that part alone, especially if you're talking about trying to put a Band-Aid on the locker room to get the most out of the season that you possibly can, any more outside noise is only going to hurt like a times 10 multiplier. So I think he did a great job with that. You said in one of your tweets, professional and professionalism, I believe specifically. That was exactly what it looked like to me.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's dive into some of these clips. Obviously, if you're just catching up or if you were living under a rock for the last week, Kevin Durant's name did come up in multiple trade rumors. Apparently, he was being dangled by the Suns in a deal with the Golden State Warriors that would have brought Jimmy Butler to Phoenix, which just really didn't make sense. I had one source that confirmed that those were made up, but all of the reporting and multiple sources have since confirmed to me that he was in fact being dangled, which is a very uncomfortable situation. So when Kevin Durant was asked about these trade rumors, this is what he had to say.
No, I always had a goal of just playing my contract out and seeing what happens. I can't focus on a year and a half down the line.
Hello?
We're going to pull up that clip in just a minute. That was the next clip that we have lined up. that was one more speaking to his potential future in Phoenix because he is due for the 2-year extension there. But we do have the clip on him just addressing the trade rumors.
It's just business, man. It's just part of the business, you know. Everybody is bought and sold in this league, you know, so anybody could be up for auction, you know what I mean? So I understand that. It's just about getting back on the court, trying to go out there and play the game that I love, you know. It's a part of the business, though, man. We all got to understand that.
James was talking about you being a pro, that you heard it before throughout your career, so this is nothing new. But on the flip side, also it was out there that they were trying to trade you for Jimmy. So I'm asking, what the hell you say about that?
I've been around noise before, where whole spotlights on your team and people got so much to say about the group. Yeah, I've been through that before. And like I said, I understand the business, and that's what we all signed up for. And nobody's above the system, you know, as much as, you know, how much status I got and how much I've acquired in this league, you're still not above the business, and I always understood that. So it's about doing the best I can on the floor, man, and focusing on that, keeping the main thing. The business, they'll take care of itself.
Speaking of business.
So throughout his media availability today, he went back to that. It's part of the business. The business is the business. It was something, I mean, he referenced it probably 10 times, I would say, maybe more. What did you take from his initial response there?
I couldn't help but think back to the things that he mentioned about 2 weeks ago when it was inching closer and closer to the deadline and the Butler noise got louder as well as other trade targets. Mm-hmm. And he just spoke to everybody having been in that position before and them needing to just buckle in and stay focused and understand that that's part of the game. And speaking to the media, saying that everybody that's in this room understands
how do I call for it, though?
The business.
Was I not calling for it?
Verbatim heard that in a hash version of that today. Since the dust has settled on the trade deadline, it's a little different when he's the person that's involved versus speaking to players on the periphery for the Suns that were involved in those conversations. But generally, kind of stays with the same train of thought.
Yeah, now I think a lot of people are going to look into the bought and sold comment, and you know, they're going to relate it to the things that Dennis Schroeder said recently as well. But I really do think, like, for him, the focus is that it is just a business. He understands that, you know, I get paid millions of dollars to do this. I understand that this is what comes with that privilege, being able to play the game that I love. For him, it has always been, despite all of what everyone else tries to make it about with him.
They don't got a shot blocker, but I'm finna eat,
behind
boy.
the scenes, it has always been first and foremost for Kevin Durant about the basketball, about getting to do what he loves, about what goes on in the facility with his teammates, with his coaches. That is always first and foremost for him. But there is the natural follow-up, even acknowledging that the business is the business. There is the natural follow-up. Okay, what does this mean for his future in Phoenix? How does that impact, you know, how he feels about the Suns front office? And this is what Kevin Durant had to say when he was asked about
what? Oh, that's cash.
No, I always had a goal of just playing my contract out and seeing what happens. I can't focus on a year and a half down the line. I try to focus on the day ahead of me, and I know that'll be a topic. That's probably the most frustrating part about being in trade talks, is that the microscope won't be on solely just me the rest of the season. And my body language, you know, how I speak to you guys after the games, you know, how I'm looking on the bench, that stuff would be magnified, which sucks. But like I said, that's a part of the business I got to just deal with and accept. But if I keep the main thing, then, you know, that could be the main focus. You know, we turn around and play well, people focus on that.
That's the biggest one for me, and this is something James Jones alluded to in his press conference as well, is that if the Suns were winning, none of this would be an issue. I still do think, even with the Suns not winning, that trading Kevin Durant for Jimmy Butler would have been insane. But I appreciate the way that he answered that question in terms of, because there's a lot of speculation when he turned down, or when they didn't sign a 1-year extension, that it was going to be about signing a 2-year extension this summer, because he could sign a longer extension, he could sign for more money. That would set his contract up perfectly with Devin Booker's for the next couple of years. And now, because of this whole situation, the focus is going to be, well, maybe he didn't sign it because he was uncertain or because the Suns were uncertain. And so I think for him, he said this earlier in the season when we asked him about it as well and not getting that extension done. His thing was, I'm going to play out my contract, and then we're going to go from there. But for him, it's never been about, like, I'm unhappy in Phoenix, I'm uncertain in Phoenix. So I appreciate the way that he acknowledged that, like, if we can turn things around, if we start winning, none of this is a conversation, and the focus is going to be on me and my body language and all this stuff for the rest of the year.
Yeah, that's the funny part. We talked about it over these last 2 games, in the pregame and postgame, especially stemming from James Johnson's comments after the deadline. And even before we got to the clips that you provided us from James, I was heavily emphasizing that if they win games, if they simply play close to the level that they are expected to, these conversations aren't even being had. But because there's so much ambiguity, because there's been such highs and lows this season, a 500 pace, that naturally opens up the back door for these types of conversations to start to take precedence in general discourse over the actual basketball. And that's, I mean, again, what he said, what James Jones said, are directly in alignment. I don't feel like they're just kind of putting on talking hats. I think they generally mean that. They win basketball games. They get to where they're supposed to be. If they even finish the season where they were expected to, these conversations grow. They get a suppressor put to them.
Yeah, they've both been around the league long enough to know that this is how it works. And like I said on a show last week, I think everybody involved here is very surprised by where this team currently is, like in terms of being 500. Because we knew that injuries could be a problem for this group. We knew that adjusting to a new coaching staff, implementing a few new players, those could all be potential hurdles. None of us expected this team to be 500 heading into the year. There were a lot of, people around the league.
That's what happens when you make a big 3 and all of them, you know what I'm saying?
To finish in the top 3, top 4 in the West, and instead they are barely in the play-in situation.
You make a big 3 that makes
if they climb up into a top
fucking
6,
150 million.
Dies down, not all of it, because I think we can all agree at this point this team might not be contending for a title this year. But I do
got a big 3 that makes 150 million, and 2 of them do the same exact thing on the basketball court.
Causes people to
when they're out,
react a little bit more emotionally.
You gotta be pretty fucking bad.
Just because you're in an uncomfortable situation where you didn't think that was going to be the case. And I'm not talking about KD in this situation. I'm talking about front office. I'm talking about players. Everybody's a little bit more on edge than they would normally be, because it's like, this is not where we should be. And as much as the fan base is disappointed, everyone on the inside of this organization is right there with you guys. But I do think it kind of, all of this begs the question about how he handled this situation and what his reaction was, because the reporting was that he was blindsided. And as much as he's been through things like this before, he's never been through something quite like this before. Here's what he had to say to all of that.
And obviously, you're a pro, you've been through this, but
let's get this straight. I haven't been through this before, but I understand what's going on.
Can you give us an idea kind of what it's like to go through something like that and
What?
then have to come back and then act like just everything's fine again? That seems like that would be tough.
No, because my teammates, my coaches, they're not the ones that's having these conversations. It's usually the front office and the people that I don't really see as much as my teammates and coaches. So I can lock in on the task at hand and focus on the team and my coaching staff as much as I can, because that's the most important thing. And like I said, let the business take care of itself. And whoever called me and tell me I need to go, then I got to go. But if I can, like I said, I wanted to stay here and figure this thing out and see this thing through. So if I can get in the way of something like a trade, then why not? So like I said, like I've been saying, it's all a part of the game, and it's something that we got to accept and deal with and move forward. So we got a game tomorrow. I'll try to focus on it.
I think him emphasizing wanting to be here, wanting to figure this thing out, and if he can get in the way of something potentially that's not in alignment with that happening, why not? That's what you want to hear from someone that's arguably your best player. It's not your franchise player, but it's arguably your best player, and it's someone that is heavily aligned with whether you are a contender.
Oh my God, Bobo's a cheat
That's what you
code.
want to hear from someone like Kevin Durant.
Yeah, the reporting, everything that I've gotten from Kevin publicly, everything that we've heard privately, is that he still wants
That's
to
a steal,
that
bro.
he's wanted to be here all along, that he wants to retire here. And until he was dangled in trade talks the last week, reportedly, like that was the Suns' indication as well. So there is that little bit of change up on one end of the equation, but it is nice to hear that he wants to be part of the solution, not the problem here. I did find it interesting that one little sentence, I don't know if you caught this, but if I got to get in the way of a trade or something, basically alluding to what was reported that he is the one who shut down the trade to the Warriors. That I found kind of a little bit interesting there. Any final thoughts before we move on to our next batch of KD clips?
They don't get to where they want to be ultimately this season, or even close to that, if he's not locked in. And all of the answers that we've dove into the details on so far this episode have been directly in alignment with that. It starts at the top, and everybody else kind of falls in alignment from there. And he's wearing that the way that he should right now.
Absolutely. Guys, thank you all for being here in the chat. We've got over 500 of you across different streaming options here. But we've only got 21 likes. We need to set a like goal for this chat today, Steven. What are we setting it at?
Let's go 225.
225. Okay, we got over 200 likes to go, guys. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. As always, we appreciate you being here in the chat. We are going to move on to a couple more Kevin Durant comments that I found interesting right after this break.
What break? Fuck.
What's better than free tickets? I have been in a ride there. They were download the Waymo One app button if you are just joining us. We've already gone through some Kevin Durant things in terms of what he said at practice today. We've got a few more to get through before we move on to our Cody Martin and Vasa Micic breakdowns, as well as our expectations for the rest of the season now that the trade deadline has passed. But before we move on to that, I do feel like, again, a lot of people are going to look at these quotes out of context. They're going to see these clips and they're going to overreact to Kevin Durant wants out. Kevin Durant doesn't want to be here. But in Kevin Durant's own words, he actually found it as a positive that so many teams kind of want him. Here's what he had to say about that.
I mean, like I said, it's a part of the game. You know, it's a double-edged sword when you build yourself up to be this great and you do it for this long. You know, shit like that happens, you know. You know, it's not a bad thing that people around the league want me to play for them. It's not a bad thing that my organization here is fighting off people to keep me on the team or even dangle me in trades. That's just part of being a part of high demand, you know. So I can understand that part of it. This is the most important.
His name is Damian Curry Lee.
Union as a family, so I look forward to that every day.
So I love this response from Kevin Durant because he acknowledges that he was probably dangled and that maybe it was less trying to fight teams off from me. I mean, they did to some degree.
Yeah, he's getting open like it ain't
there were more
nothing,
teams that were
bro.
calling about Kevin Durant than there were teams that were not at the trade deadline based on what I have heard and what the reporting has been. But I appreciate that he reaffirmed, like, when you're this good, it comes with the territory. I understand.
I always enjoy his perspective on anything basketball related. And anytime we get an opportunity to hear him talking on the microphone, I feel like there's always something or a few things to take away from it. This answer is one example of it. It's not talking about direct basketball, but just gauging his value across the league. You could look at it as, man, why are they trying to trade me? You could look at it as,
I'm pulling up 3
I
discs.
still have a very high value across the league if that many teams are just calling about what's the opportunity they might have at potentially trying to have a conversation about bringing me into their franchise.
Yeah,
so
2 for 1.
I appreciate his perspective. Honestly, I think he's very open-minded. You could tell, you could hear him like thinking through the response he's going to give to this answer, but not in like a calculated manner.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said off the top of the show, I thought today's press conference was a masterclass in diffusing a lot of the potential awkwardness, and I know people are going to take little snippets and run with them because that's what happens inevitably to not just Kevin Durant, but pro athletes in general, it feels like. But he really did, I mean, every answer was, I don't want to say calculated because that feels like there's an angle to it, but he put a lot of thought into what he was saying beforehand. And I think the way that he answered this speaks to him wanting to get rid of all of these trade rumors, kind of bury these things deep down. And if we have to revisit them over the summer, we have to revisit them, because we know that the Suns are going to have to do what they need to do to try to improve the team. And Kevin Durant's name is going to be chief among them because of Bradley Beal's no trade clause. It's because of the fact that Devin Booker, you're not going to trade Devin Booker because he's 7-8 years younger. So he understands that this is going to be a recurring topic. But I felt like he, with the responses that he gave today, reaffirmed that he wants to be with the Suns.
If the Suns come back with the same big three next year, I might not watch a fucking game. I'm capping. I'm capping because Kevin Durant's playing, but
on the court with his teammates.
But it's like, damn, it's over with. My guy. It's like, you know what I'm saying?
And we in the media, we did our best to make
the
sure
construction
that
of the team, it's not.
And so I
not gonna work
with him about whether it's frustrating to him that's kind of the conception.
Oh my God.
It's all about his unhappiness now in Phoenix, when for the most part he has affirmed and reaffirmed that he does want to be here. This is what he had to say.
That's a little, like I keep saying, it's just a part of the game, but if I want to talk in detail, yeah, that's a little frustrating that it's going to be in question, because I never even insinuated that I wanted to move teams. So, yeah, my happiness will be evaluated, but when it should be the front office's happiness that you should be monitoring every day. It's just because they make these decisions, So I get that I'm more visible than everybody, and I got the
that's all him.
Name, so everybody's
trying
to understand what my feelings are like in this time, but it's more than just me that goes through this.
LUKA down the kick.
There's a lot of people involved, so I guess you want to understand my feelings, but it should be a lot of other people's feelings that you should be trying to figure out too and see where their heads at. So it's more than just me, and that's how I feel.
But no melatonin. My therapist put in a 40.
Check in on everybody else that's involved, and they only focus on me. That's just the game that I'm in. That's the life that I chose. I gotta accept it. I don't deserve nothing. I got to work to earn and get everything. I don't deserve anything. I don't expect anything from any person. I'm not entitled to anything. I just go out there and do my job. And if I'm compensated for doing my job, cool. If not, I move on. That's how I kind of look at stuff. So I don't expect nothing from nobody. I don't expect them to feel entitled that they owe me anything. So I just got to focus on my job.
He's spoken a few different times since that decision. I think it was 2017 when he chose to go from Oklahoma City to Golden State. And he said he was aware of the repercussions that would come from making such a substantial decision that would have reverb across the entire league and change the literal landscape and how players go about trying to map out their next decisions, et cetera, et cetera. And I think this is just another example of it. He's fine with
I thought I went back.
The conversations that are always around his name. Is he happy here? Does he want to stay? Does he want to go? Is he in limbo? What's his connection with the front office? Like all of those things, he's like, it's whatever, but I've never said that I wanted to go. I've never said anything less than wanting to be where I'm at now, doing exactly what I'm doing now, which is building with the team. Yeah. So again, when the response is so consistent, even before he got to Phoenix, the perspective that he had, it's just everything, because I don't think you can have a player that's as great as he is with the attention that he has if they're not strong mentally, for lack of a better phrase, to be able to shoulder the brunt of all of that attention and channel it the right way to not allow for it to diffuse the locker room.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it was interesting that he kind of pointed out the irony by highlighting, like, it's the front office's happiness that you should also be checking in on, because I didn't try to trade myself. I want to be here. It was the front office that was rethinking some things or toying around with some different trade concepts there, which I think is a fair point to make in this situation, because obviously the front office is not happy. Obviously the team itself is not happy sitting at 500. But in terms of Kevin Durant possibly being traded for Jimmy Butler, that was not his decision. And based on the reporting, it was him that shut it down in the first place. So I found that interesting. Steven, do you have any final thoughts on Kevin Durant? We are going to post that full availability on YouTube so you can hear what he had to say about all of that in full. Also his thoughts on Kendrick's halftime performance, how his ankle is doing, all of that good stuff is in there. But Steven, any final thoughts from you?
I think the last thing with KD, I don't know if there's another superstar level athlete that we hear when someone throws the word deserve in any question that's posed to him. He almost immediately, it's like a trigger word. He cuts them off respectfully, shuts it down, and lets people know that I'm not deserving of anything. His maintained status has always been I have to go and earn anything that I want. And I think that's something that can get lost in translation when people are great at a specific task or job. You might think that they're deserving of it just because of the work that they've put in prior to that moment. And he's so great, even at 36, because he just approaches the game without expecting things to be handed to him. There's a stubbornness that all the greats have about them, and he has it as much as anybody. And I think all of the stories that are written and told about him and his work ethic and all of the things like that directly align with that more than anything else.
Yep, always about the basketball with this guy.
He's
always
Kevin
about
Durant. You know who he is.
And the work that they put in.
Y'all know who he is.
And for him, a lot of it is us versus the world, because he understands that a lot of these people that are asking these questions or writing these articles or speaking on this podcast are not people that are in the gym with these people that see everything that goes on behind the scenes. So kudos to him for that and for the way that he conducted himself, because like I said, he handled this like a true professional and did his best to diffuse a very awkward situation. So if you liked Kevin Durant's responses, the way he handled this, hit the like button. If you are worried about Kevin Durant's future and with the Phoenix Suns, hit the like button anyway. We are going to go through Cody Martin and Vasa Micic breakdowns, as well as our expectations for the Suns now that the trade deadline has passed after this break. Steven, I know you're a numbers guy, so I'm going to throw some your way because whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Bet365 has 90 million users worldwide, which is kind of insane. That's a lot of users worldwide.
Man, these folks got to goddamn hit his shit, no cap.
Please support our show now that it's getting hot again in the Phoenix Sun. Steven, Phoenix Suns.
It is starting to get hot again.
We are going to talk about Cody Martin and Vasa Micic. We were supposed to get them in practice today for availability. Luckily, we switched to Kevin Durant, so we were able to diffuse that situation. But I wanted to get your thoughts on both of these guys, and we'll start with Martin. Well, actually, we'll start with some injury updates, because I did ask Bud about Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Grayson Allen, what their prognosis is moving forward to tomorrow's game, and also Cody Martin, who has been dealing with a sports hernia.
I'll start with Brad. I think, he's did not practice today, so I think it's going to take him a little bit more time. Kevin did everything today, looked good. We'll see how he reacts to today, but I think we're hopeful for tomorrow. And I'd say Grayson probably did a little bit less, but I think hopeful for tomorrow, and that I think just a little bit more time, and those two guys should be good.
You guys have a status for any of them?
That's not my job. I was just coach, so I don't even know what the status report means anymore.
Have they given you an indication on Cody? I know he was kind of dealing with the sports hernia. What his timetable might look like?
Yeah, I think, the next couple days, I don't think we foresee him, clearing the hurdles and being ready to go. And, the break could be, the timing for him could be good. So, again, I don't want to speak on all the medical, even though I know that's part of my role. But I think my guess is Cody will need these couple of days and then the break. And I think continue to evaluate where he is.
Okay, so for starters, I'm going to start marking guys down as hopeful on the injury report instead of questionable or probable. I'm just going to say hopeful. But reading all of that, it does feel like, I don't know what's going on with Bradley Beal's toe, and it doesn't feel like the Suns do either, at least in terms of what they've released to us, because when we asked Bud about it the other day, he had said, yeah, we're not 100% sure what's going on with that or what the timetable's going to look like, and if he didn't practice at all today, that must be some type of toe injury that's holding him up. It was his left great toe, for those of you who were not aware, which just basically means your big ass toe. Kevin Durant and Grayson, it's good that they are practicing, that they're both hopeful for tomorrow. From Cody's perspective, that kind of sounded like he's not going to play until after the All-Star break.
That's a tough blow, because you need to be having him build up as much game reps and chemistry as he possibly can. Stemming from over the weekend, obviously giving him time to get acclimated to the move from Charlotte to Phoenix, et cetera, et cetera. But on the Bradley Beal front, that ambiguity with an injury that's been a couple of games now, about 4 or 5 days, that's not the most confident response that you've ever heard. And it really doesn't, to your point, seem like they're exactly sure, A, what it is, or B, what the duration of his time away from actual basketball activity will be. So for a team that's in dire straits in terms of needing to turn somewhat of a corner prior to the break and not being able to do that with the full roster is tough.
Yeah, absolutely. And as Andres in the chat said, it's so crazy to talk about grown men's toes. Yes, it is, but that is where we are 2 games away from the All-Star break. So thank you for being here with us, guys. Make sure to hit that like button if you have not. We haven't cracked 100 likes yet, so we were well off from our goal of 225 likes. Make sure to do that because Noah always has a special surprise lined up if we hit our like goal. We got some work to do on that front. I know a lot of people were kind of concerned with the Cody Martin sports hernia situation, especially in conjunction with like the Hornets and that Mark Williams trade being rescinded. How does that impact? Because they have a center coming back. Do they still want Yusuf Nurkic?
Wow, bro.
Do the Suns still want Cody Martin if he is
That
going to be out for maybe longer than they were anticipating? And then Nurk didn't help the situation today when a Hornets fan was tweeting about, well, are we going to see Nurk? Is he going to be out there? Is he going to get traded back? And he just responded like, or something like that. Fortunately, Gambo did squash that situation and saying that the trade is... we already knew the trade had gone through. They had already made it official. To be fair, the Mark Williams trade was made official before it was rescinded. But we haven't gotten an indication that this trade will be rescinded. So Nurk is in Charlotte. He's not on the injury report for the Hornets tonight. Cody Martin and Vasa, they were at the Suns game the other night. They were at the practice facility today. Hopefully we will see Cody Martin in the near future when he is able to return from that hernia. So what can Suns fans expect from Cody Martin when he does return is, I think, the bigger question. Steven, I'll let you kind of give your initial thoughts on what he might be able to provide.
Tons of added value. A whole lot of it. He's not a player without flaws.
Yeah.
Most of those come in on the offensive end of the floor than anything
We're not doing that shit where we get a lead and give it up and lose. We're not doing that shit today.
So basically,
that's something we're not doing today, guys.
End, so his weaknesses can't be used.
Keep the foot on the gas.
Another team, while also squeezing as much of the value out of him on the defensive end as they possibly can. And I know I saw a lot of people on my timeline and people asking me, what does this mean for Ryan Dunn and his minutes? I can't speak for Mike Budenholzer. It's been hard to get a read on Mike Budenholzer all season in multiple respects, but what I can say from my personal opinion, there should be value in having not just one player that can bring something similar to what Ryan Dunn does in terms of being viable enough on ball that you know at least he's going to do his job. That's a gigantic dynamic to have to depend on a rookie to bring. When his
like 2 is more than 3, bro. Just stay your ass out there,
with
man.
the roster as well.
I mean,
so I think being able to double down and have 2 above average point of attack defenders to sprinkle in different lineups over the course of games that you can put on the guys, the dudes across the league, is fun. And speaking to Cody, Charles Lee and Charlotte used him in a handful of unique ways. Not just at the point of attack, picking up 94 feet. He's guarding wings like Paul George and Jason Tatum and having fun doing so. Those guys were not having fun while he was guarding them. And in addition to that, I also saw Charles Lee putting them on centers. And that's a wrinkle within switching schemes that I'll continue to say that the Suns need to find a way to lean into.
Fuck wrong with them.
It's not for a lack of personnel. I think it's just a lack of them experimenting.
I'm playing very good right now, bro.
Just hasn't worked as their defensive base. And I've seen Cody guard Jared Allen. I've seen him guard Karl Anthony Towns. I've seen him guard Rudy Gobert. I've seen him guard a couple of other centers in that mix of above average to borderline elite level centers. Not just guarding them in the post, but being able to get into them on the perimeter, stonewall them from getting to the post if they are trying to negotiate themselves there, and then force those screens that they set in the switches, and then helping the overall defensive process.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought up the point of attack thing because that's something that doing my research for a breakdown, and I'm sure you doing your research for your video breakdown that's coming out soon, make sure to keep an eye out for that. Steven's going to go into detail with some clips about Cody Martin's game on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel, so make sure to look out for that. But the big thing that stood out was the versatility that they used him with in Charlotte on the defensive side of the ball, and how often he did guard the point of attack. So over at the B-Ball Index, which they provide some really great in-depth stats there, he was 97th percentile in defensive positional versatility in terms of the different positions that he spent a lot of time on. 92nd percentile
Kevin Wayne Durant
time guarding shot creators, and 79th in percentile
sit your big ass down
guarding ball handlers, primary ball. So in terms of what we lost with the Josh Okogie trade, Cody Martin is not an elite defender maybe on that front like a Josh Okogie, but he does bring some of those same qualities in terms of we have a 6'6" wing who we can put on the primary ball handler or point guard, who we can put on a forward if we need to, who we can put on a 4 or a 5 if we have to in switching type situations. And the Suns don't switch a ton, but hopefully this kind of opens the door a little bit more for Bud to be a little more flexible on that front. I found it fascinating. He was 74th percentile in how much time he spent guarding post scorers.
What?
So he is a guy that there was no percentage that he spent more than 25% on any of the 5
posting up
positions.
Pickett?
Going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was 24%, 24%, 21%, 17%, and 14%. Like, he is very even across the board. And I think that versatility could help them, even if it doesn't move the needle a ton for the Suns.
I could not agree with that statement more, and I think it's funny that looking at how much time he spent on each position is that
crazy.
That is exactly that's literally the template for defensive versatility. And speaking to him specifically at the point of attack, which is where a majority of his value is going to be brought, just to rattle off the names in order of who Basketball Index has as the best point of attack defenders this season, from 1 to where Cody is ranked at 14th. You got Asar Thompson.
I missed that. What the fuck?
Amen Thompson, Cason Wallace, Dyson Daniels, Keon Ellis, Jaden McDaniels, Drew Smith from Miami, Hayward Highsmith from Miami, Cam Reddish, who's a free agent, Lou Dort, Peyton Watson, Lonzo Ball, and then you get to Cody Martin. That's the cloth of defenders that he's cut with from the advanced stats metrics side of things. And it very much matches the eye test, which I think is the important thing. I know sometimes you can get lost with the numbers. The numbers are only relevant when they support the eye test or they combat the eye test to bring context. And that's exactly what we're bringing now. Speaking to that, him being lumped in with those names of point of attack defenders and seeing how they've wreaked havoc against the Suns and the entire rest of the NBA is something that really can be a positive for them in terms of, again, just adding value. I think the big thing with him is multiple efforts. If he's navigating screens and pick and roll and he gets chipped on the screen, he hardly gets hit. If he does, he can fight back, get up a review contest, or just block shots. And I think that's something else kind of stemming one thing in terms of his defensive dynamics to another. He is a really good rim protector for someone that's a guard/wing. He's not necessarily Rudy Gobert in any respect, but he's good with walling up. He's good at just contesting with verticality, and he's just generally really good with his hands. And I think the Suns having someone that takes ownership defensively, not unlike Royce O'Neal, not unlike Ryan Dunn, to add to that blue-collar boys group on the perimeter side of things is as invaluable as anything they could have added that wasn't Jimmy Butler at the trade deadline.
Yeah, in terms of the defense, I think we could both agree this is primarily a defensive upgrade for the Phoenix Suns. Adding Cody Martin, it is disappointing that we might not get to see him till after the All-Star break, hopefully immediately after the All-Star break. I do worry a little bit about how his arrival is going to impact Ryan Dunn's minutes. Hopefully the decline that we've seen in those minutes for Dunn recently is just because of the ankle. Bud did allude to that pregame when I followed up again with him about that. Kind of, he needs to be fully healthy.
Turned it over to David Aldridge, who is standing by courtside. David.
Still, he's been
Thanks very much,
from
Mike.
starting
Stout
role that
effort defensively in the first half. What did you do to limit them?
15 minutes.
Just take our activity on the ball. We got to try to keep it in front of us. Our bigs did a good job. I think being big in the paint, making things tough there.
How that shakes out. I want to ask you one more thing before we move
rebounds
on.
and possessions, Coach. Thanks. Back to you guys.
Obviously, what people are going to worry about or question. He's not a great shooter. He's career 32% from three, 32% from three this year. What can Cody Martin bring to the Suns on the offensive end?
Well, because of his activity that he plays with defensively and how sustained that is, he can bridge the gap in transition for the Suns. He adds another piece that excels in the open court, but also more than anyone else on their roster right now, plays to that strength and being able to play an event-causing style of defense. That
Why the fuck
allows
are the
him to
Hornets
get some
29 and
space on
22?
offense, as well as Devin Booker and Kevin Durant and Grayson Allen. Three of the majority of the time they're elite level talents in the transition offense. And he can finish at the basket in that context extremely well, or fill a lane in transition to kind of organize things the way that the Suns would want to. But if we're talking about specifically in the half court, his cutting, he has a high IQ in terms of feeling for when to cut based off of what type of actions might be going on strong side or weak side. He cuts to put himself in the position to grab offensive rebounds to help bridge that gap, and just generally doing the marginal things to offset the lack of attention that teams give him when he's spaced out. He's also another piece they can add to their guard group in terms of setting screens. He's always going to have the weakest perimeter defender on the court on him, understands that, knows when to bring that player to primary action just to flip a switch and then either roll downhill like Ryan Dunn does and play in the short roll, get to the floaters, or just generally set that screen and get out the way to allow for them to go against a less advantageous matchup from a defensive perspective.
That makes sense. I like hearing that he is a good, smart cutter, that he can help as kind of this extra auxiliary piece, because this Lord knows the Suns do not need more guys who need the ball in their hands to be effective. So that is a helpful thing.
One last quick thing, too, I almost forgot. Played point guard his senior year in Nevada.
He did.
He is not a traditional point guard in any sense, but I think the Suns having someone that's not named the Big Three that can be a secondary initiator of offense. If one of those three is getting pressed full court, he can get them efficiently into their sets, or at least get it across the half-court line in a timely manner. But also, when he's spaced to the second side of actions, he can run a secondary pick and roll, not unlike Grayson Allen. But the processing speed and the passing catalog that he has to make any pass that the defense is giving or conceding, I think is very important. He instantly becomes a top 3 lob passer for the Suns, which the bar was low for that. So that's not saying too much, but he's just a quick processor. He doesn't hold on to the ball for too long, and I think that's another positive that he brings to the team. They can certainly use more of that from the role player group.
Absolutely. Need more quick processing on this team.
Yes.
A couple of quick things before we move on. Devin Booker was not named as a all-star injury replacement. That nod is going to Kyrie Irving in Anthony Davis's spot, and Trae Young got it in the East for, what was it, Giannis that was injured?
Giannis,
so no Devin Booker in the all-star game, unfortunately. Leave a like if you think he was snubbed. Leave a like if you don't think he was snubbed.
Him and Kyrie been playing like the same, to be honest.
Right after this break.
I don't know, because it was
Steven,
like literally the opposite. Kyrie started off slow.
Cannabis, who are now
I mean, Kyrie started off fast and then picked it up.
With a huge variety of premium flower and a True Leaf exclusive magic marker. The Valley has been asking for her, and now she's back. Visit TrueLeaf.com to find the local shop near you, or place an order and tell them that PHNX sent you, as always. Great flower is hard to find these days, and luckily our friends at Cult Cannabis have been dropping absolute fire here at PHNX Studios and now at your local True Leaf. That includes the True Leaf exclusive magic marker strain and a new True Leaf location opened in Maricopa last month. So lots of fun stuff going on that front. Head over to TrueLeaf.com to find your local shop.
Like, damn, bro, why it always go black when it ends, bro? It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. You can run into it.
Kevin Durant addressed the trade rumors publicly for the first time at practice today, and we're going to get into all of that with the perspective of someone who was actually there, because I know everybody's already freaking out about it. Let's get into the show.
It's okay, it's okay. All right.
Help. They're not, stubborn, or they're not blind to the fact that
Micic is still a project on the NBA side of things. He's a player that stems from the gluttony of picks that the Oklahoma City Thunder have made over the last handful of years. And they haven't missed on any. I think he's just been a work in progress. I don't think he's a bad player in any capacity. I'm just not sure if he fits the Suns in terms of what they need from the point guard position in particular, and that's someone that can bring it up the court at times, but excel playing off the ball in the ways in which they need them to. And to that point, even more, I just don't feel like he's going to factor into the long term in terms of even past this season, but even in the short term, just looking at where the roster is right now and what they're trying to work towards. I'm not sure where the minutes are going to come from because Monte Morris hasn't played in a relevant amount of minutes in games in the last 2 weeks. We've seen Tyus's minutes slowly decrease, even with Bradley Beal out of the lineup. So, just not sure what the point guard process is for Bud right now.
Yeah, I feel like he's the part of the trade, and we knew this about Cody Martin as well, but the flexibility with both of these guys' contracts beyond this season, I think is part of the big draw and why they traded Nurkic and a pick to get these guys.
Oh, here we go.
I do know the Suns like Cody Martin. They think he can help. They're not, stubborn, or they're not blind to the fact that Cody Martin is not going to fix this Suns team. But they do like what he can provide defensively and on the wing. But I think for them, for both pieces of this trade coming back, it's the fact that I think Cody Martin's salary is completely non-guaranteed next year, and that's the last year of his contract. Micic, last year of his contract, is a team option, so they could decline that if they want to free up cap space and temporarily get below the second tax apron. They're not going to stay there because we've covered this before, but they're going to be about, if they decline both of these guys, they'd be about 10, 11, 12 million below that second tax apron for next year. But they would only have like 7 guys on roster. So by the time they fill out those other 8 remaining roster spots, they would be back above that line. But it does put them closer to ducking that line if they feel the need to do that. So I think that's probably a lot of the incentive behind adding Micic. I don't see him playing a role just because he's not a very efficient shooter. He's a career 32% 3-point shooter. He's shooting a career high 36% this year. But it does.
He gonna throw that lob to Nick Richards though.
He's been fantastic overseas for a long time. But a lot of these guys, by the time we get them over here in the NBA, their best years are behind them a little bit.
Yeah, especially considering in the case of players like LUKA, and not just LUKA, but other players as well in EuroLeague. Some of those players are professionals by about 14 years old. Right. There's an expedited process to their when their professional careers start and the wear and tear that comes with that over the years. So him being 30, 31, if he's been playing professionally since 16, 17, that's essentially like 35, 36, 37 in terms of his playing days, age-wise. So it gets tough in those situations, and there's not much that you're going to be adding to your game once you get to that point. You just kind of are what you are. That's not an indictment to him, but just for the Suns context, I don't know if he fits.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We have a super chat here from Psycho Blue. Thank you for your super chat, $10. B-Ball Cthulhu thinks the Dark Carnival from Something Wicked This Way Comes has arrived in PHX in the form of the KD stands demanding that this place return to nothingness so that KD can escape. Listen, I don't really want to talk on the KD stands in general, just as a rule of thumb, but I will say that it is interesting how people will get mad that the Suns were dangling KD while also advocating for him to be traded elsewhere, like the free KD, but also blame KD. That's unfortunate. I just want to watch Devin Booker and Kevin Durant play basketball. That's what it's been for me from day one. They just haven't built around those two correctly, and now we're sitting in this uncomfortable situation where trading KD is an option that they have to consider. That sucks.
That's the issue of stan culture.
It sucks.
You can't enjoy having
nothing,
best
bro.
scorers at worst in the entire NBA.
I hate fans, bro.
They can both peak out at top 9, top 8.
I'm not even fans. They fucking
Why does it have to?
I don't know. They parasites.
I don't like that we have to pit them against.
They just want look at me. Look at me. Look at me.
Just enjoy the hoops. It's beautiful. The way those two play off each other, complimentary. The way that they play with each other in actions. I mean, you can talk to any scout across the league. That's not fun to have to go into a game trying to figure out how you're going to take one of those two or both of them off the table. Enjoy the basketball.
Oh my God, only down by 12, bro. Come on, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
14, bro. Chill out. Shut the fuck up. I'm drunk right now, bro. Just chill, bro.
Apron, count the 10% cap bump. I believe so. I think when I looked it up, that was calculating that into it, but I could be wrong.
If he made that,
need to do more look into that. But honestly, the last 72 to 96 hours have been an absolute blur. So not ruling out that I did not factor that in. I'll be 100% honest with you on that. Steven, before we close for the day, we should probably talk about what we want to see from the Suns now that the trade deadline is over, now that the roster is set. For me, I'm just going to quickly list mine off because they're things I've ranted and raved about on the show before. I don't think that Tyus Jones should be the starter after the All-Star break.
No, he shouldn't.
It's nothing personal against Tyus. I think he's been handed a difficult situation in terms of having to come in and be the point guard that they need while not having the ball in his hands. I also think part of that is because Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal
just not fucking using them, bro. They're not using them like he should be used, bro.
Which was part
especially
of
with a fucking Nick Richards on the team, bro.
Needing a point guard, but I do think if you're going to play Tyus Jones off the ball and him be a defensive undersized liability on the other end, you got to mitigate those concerns by starting to bring him off the bench. And you can let him run the second unit and empower him in that way. He might.
I'm trolling too much, bro. What the fuck am I doing
right now? But that's my biggest one. Play the best players on your team. Find minutes for Ryan Dunn. Find minutes for Oso Ighodaro, especially if the backup center minutes continue to be very hit or miss, we'll say. I'm curious what kind of stands out to you in terms of what you would like to see or hopes for the Suns beyond the All-Star break.
I would just like to see them show togetherness. I think it's been a very volatile 2 weeks, and I'm glad that Kevin Durant served as basically, for lack of a better phrase, he served as the cleanser for the team with his availability today. And he was really like a piece of sage, if you will. And it felt like you could feel the uplifted spirits in terms of him being able to directly address things. Now you have to see it translate to the game on the court because they have a very heavy schedule with elite level teams that they're going to be going up against over the course of into the break and then very much after that through the finish line. So we're past the halfway mark. Margin for error is almost non-existent right now, and they have to start to right those tides. So I want to see that. I would love to see them defensively start to lean more into switching lineups, not always small ball. But like we talked about with Cody, you have a gluttony of wings.
Bro, Luka Doncic plays basketball, bro.
Put your center on someone.
You know how long I've been waiting for Luka to play?
You're okay with shooting.
To watch Luka, man.
From there, just to add the slightest bit of nuance. You might not do it for 25 minutes a game, but if you find a 4-minute pocket where you do it, and you're able to spark a 12-4 run. And you find another pocket where you're able to do it, and now you can do it with small ball and blend it into your process like that. I think that's important. So just squeezing more versatility out of it.
Bobo's not pussy.
And then the last big thing for me is on offense. Play to your identity. I feel like the team is at its best this season, and this season in particular.
This barbecue chicken.
Operating pick and roll and being able to pull the strings on help defense and make the passes that ultimately lead to three-point opportunities for everyone around them, whether directly or in a secondary fashion. Lean more into that identity, but clean up the process in which you go about doing it. Use them in movement a little bit like we saw against Utah. Let them initiate sometimes like we saw against Utah as well. Move them to the mid-post sometimes. There's a lot of different ways you can use them in combination with Kevin Durant in a way that if it's more organized, I feel like it'll benefit the offense.
Absolutely. We want to thank all of our TV viewers. Make sure to go to gophnx.com. The party always continues.
But he stays out there. Why every time I have a three-point shooter out there, they fucking run to the fucking block? But he's the one that stays out there, that stays spaced. Like, well, how
where other teams' small ball is parentheses complimentary. Like, it hasn't. This team is just small, as opposed to playing small ball. Does Bol Bol factor into any of your thinking at this point? Because I know you and I have kind of we've poked fun at the idea that Bol Bol would change the Suns season in any way, and I still stand by that. But over the last 2 games, I do feel like he has earned more of a win.
I don't disagree with that part. He definitely earned
Bol Bol's a cheat code, bro.
I just wonder
in 2K
where are the minutes going to come from? So who are the minutes being taken away from? And is he going to be more effective in said allotment of minutes that he takes away from someone else than the person or people that he's taking minutes from would be in those minutes, but also in those lineup constructs? How does the defense react to those players?
I don't like how they're still like kind of like hanging around because, you know, might try to do some whole shit.
Small ball people think offensively, but you have to get stops. And you have to be able to switch viably in a connected manner. If those things aren't connected, if those things aren't sustained, then there's no point in running small ball. So, because you're already conceding the size disadvantage. So, there's little things like that with ball. He has earned the opportunity, though. So, what he does with it, I think, is going to be something to watch for. And if it happens in these next 2 games going into the break against Memphis and Houston, those are the number 2 and number 3 teams in the West. So, if he's going to have some staying power and it's going to be valuable, he's going to have to show it in those 2
definitely
games.
pump fake.
Absolutely. The last thing I would like to see is them continue to find ways to generate threes.
Yeah.
I feel like they were doing it early in the season, and then there was that stretch where they really got away from it. And now recently, I feel like they're starting to get back to it. They generated 50 in their last game. Didn't make a ton of them, but they generated good looks out of those. Just kind of knock them down. I would like to see that continue. I would like to see them, like to your point, build towards something. Like, I think you and I can both agree this team is not winning a title this year. They might not even make it out of the first round, but I would like to see them at least build towards a top 6 playoff seed, at least build towards something that you can point to and say, okay, this we can take into next season. This, if we can get past all the KD trade rumors and all the BS of the summer that's going to come our way, we can pinpoint these 2 or 3 things that, like, okay, yeah, Ryan Dunn in this spot works. Yes, you can build a winning team around Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. Just build some type of positive momentum over these last 30-some games so that we're not heading into the offseason thinking, all right, they got to strip this thing down to the studs and start over again, because I cannot do another full-scale rebuild. When I started covering the Suns back in 2015, it was like literally a couple weeks before the trade deadline where they shipped out Goran Dragic and all of that. That was the beginning of the end. And those next 5 years made me rethink.
Bro, Suns, Goran Dragic? Oh my God.
People would be like, so what do you do for work? I'm like, oh, I cover the NBA. Like, that's awesome. What's
he did get yammed on by Derrick Rose.
That sucks. Like,
but Suns, Goran Dragic, oh my God, he was nasty.
You cover NBA basketball?
Right, that's not how you want to feel about your
job. No, not at
he
all.
was nasty.
I was there for I don't want to be here for the 50-plus point loss.
That ball was nasty, boy.
Loss to the Blazers on opening night. I don't want to go back to those days. So I would like to see them build at least something for us to feel good about, that they can maybe serve as a foundation moving forward.
Yeah, and I'll say lastly to close, to your point about the 3-point attempts being up, talked about it with Devin Booker, and a lot of the volume of those stemming from his passes in some capacity. The other thing that's different from earlier in the season when they were generating that amount and the in-between point before the last.
Yeah, Tatar liked that. He really liked that, to be honest.
Defense. Yeah. If they can put together those pockets of time over the course of games, we always said they would never be a top 5, top 7, top 10 defense, but they can be that in pockets, especially the meaningful ones. That allows for them to play off of their defense. And a lot of the best opportunities you get to look at the basket, especially from deep, come in transition.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Thank you all for joining us. Make sure to leave a like on your way out. We fell well short of our like goal, which is disappointing, but I understand we're all just kind of running on fumes leading up to the All-Star break. I totally get it, but if you wouldn't mind, leave us a like on your way out. You can follow me on Twitter at Gerald Bourget. You can follow Steven on Twitter at StevenPG3. And you can follow the show at PHNX_Suns. And until we meet back here again tomorrow for pregame and postgame, just enjoy basketball and enjoy the fact that by all accounts, Kevin Durant does still want to be here.
We all sitting like the mayor.
Gotcha, bitch. Chinchilla Ushanka, we skiing on in Courchevel. Well, they try to kill him, but the boy prevails. He can go to jail. He can kill it down like one and more for himself. Alright, so Walton Chanel, they like, how the fuck you need more Chanel? I got these cats tucking tails on 4-quarter sales. Come here, bitch. Like a foreign film, not silence in the land like the horror film. He's kinky after 15 years of dominance. He gonna have to hit that, I ain't gonna lie. He did it. Cash. actually made that shit. What the hell?
15-point lead at the end of the quarter. And it's been their rugged defense setting the tone. And don't go away. We'll be right back. And it's time now to bring you our State Farm assist of the game.
Yeah, an easy choice tonight. Look at the precision on this pass. Put it on a platter for him.
You've got to admire the vision just as much as the accuracy. Not many players can even spot that pass.
Is that Caleb Martin? No, that's Cody. Oh.
And as we head into the fourth.
Face fine brothers and fine cousins of family, all bad. TJ's my nemesis on the premises. Like, don't even worry about it, you know? You can get me back whenever or don't. It don't really matter. It's all good, I guess. Get some of that money and set it aside. Not having enough of your taxes. Oh my God, bro, I've been waiting so long to say these words, but Drake dropped Friday. Ain't that crazy? Making your memories fly. Kennedy guy. Probably I guess you got until I'm 75. That's it. But that couldn't be. Stood in your face. Like putting in cake. But the footage is safe. Speed to put in the safe. Thank God. I'm saying I'm the best at what I do. I'm just saying it's me versus whoever wanna lose. Pick any one of the who's. All right.
Oh shit! How you know? Why you want to play? Huh? How you know? Good streak together before. What I said. Yeah, it was a good streak. Great streak. W streak.
Ball. Bro, if they give ball minutes, bro, I'm not losing another game, bro. No cap. Damn.
I think it would be a good stream if I joined one of these 2-man, 3-man shits.
That should be hilarious. My fault, that was late. He still got through.
Literally after the day. Right. That's how we found out. Silky word of pants yesterday. You were there? I was screaming yesterday. That's what they said. Wait, did I say this? No, right? No, I didn't. What? I say, come on, bro. Lady, yo, you're lying. I say, are you hungry? You not hungry?
Well, you got a cut.
No,
yeah. Silky to say Dirty Mac. I'm telling you, bro, nobody's getting anything past me. Bro, this shit's hella long, bro. I gotta watch like TikToks or some shit of this shit, bro. Is this shit hella long or am I just impatient?
Hold on, turn that up. Matter of fact, run it back.
Yeah, bro, this shit's long.
Run it back. Fuck.
Like, god damn, that shit too long. But we get it though. That shit was probably funny as fuck. I'm gonna watch the TikTok clips.
Diplomatic community, fuck it.
Skip to Cinco? Yeah, let's skip to Cinco.
All that weak shit will ruin me, fuck 'em. Yeah.
Go to their cons and see if they get clips.
Gassed off journalists going in, all you get is the ballistics report. Booked a private room in Wally's.
I got this set up. This is what I need to use.
At
I need to
award
get another
shows.
one of these cameras so I can use for listening, but I didn't do that shit. For me, oh, that was a girl. Me and Bill.
He was trying to compare us, but like a job straight out of high school, there's no UNI. And you got student pride, all factual. I call the house the embassy, the studio, the chapel. I hate to travel. I just pull up on Solana show, the girls are natural. Hollywood was international. Yeah, shout out to Sizzle, man. That wears the mic. That belong in the hood of my Benz. Very presidential. I broke all the codes of zoning in my residence. Oh, shit.
Go home, bro. Nigga, where did you come from? Go home, bro. Go home. Bro, I'm chilling, bro. What's up, bro? Chat, what's going on, chat? Let me see. Chat, what's going on? Cinco Live, yeah, because this shit an hour and 40 minutes. God damn, we get it, DDG, but god damn.
Like San Antonio and Detroit Lions, get a run around where they won't find you. Like, oh,
this shit an hour and 30 minutes. A lot of niggas must have been.
I'm the Osiris of the shit.
Get it on, yeah. I feel like a lot of niggas want us to go in their heads cut off. Yo, shut fucking gifted. Thank you, Soul Join. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. What the fuck? He came in with that 20. Thank you. I appreciate you. Yeah, let's watch the Twitter tournament. 20. Send clips or something. Or let me go into Twitter. That 20. Whose shit should we go to? One TikTok. Yeah, that's one.
Yeah, I guess like Soraya. When it comes to me, it's not the same though. All goody. I just pushed me to do the thing he all couldn't. It's all gravy. Protection that God gave me. It was complex like short niggas around tall ladies. What have you seen though? I've seen other careers talking about other careers, judging their peers. None of this here. Cover my ears, my security, government tier. And so I know the exits. Shit, if Art Mesa, at least it's suspected. Linked like a Brooklyn necklace. Mirror, mirror. You playing Asa Sarah, inshallah. Getting clearer. Everyone can ever over you will always be together like Shakira. That shit is not sweet, bro.
What date? Oh yeah, the 15th. I'm gone. 16th, I'm gone too. But I get back on the 17th.
Wait, so you going out the country for a day?
For like 2 days.
Wait, so you gonna be going the 15th and the 16th?
Yeah.
Well, I'm coming home for the weekend. Me and my friend are having a cabin trip, so you can decide that you want to. Her boyfriend, and me.
Oh, wait, it's her boyfriend, and you?
Yeah.
Oh, so you need to like be like the nigga there or something?
That's the, like a really good friend to come and just have fun and just, vibe, go to the club.
Okay, for sure.
I wanna be with you everywhere.
What date? Cause I'm be going.
The 15th and the 18th.
Oh, I can come like the 17th or 18th.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
What's a cabin trip, by the way?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Oh, let it go. My fault.
It's a cabin trip, so it's like an hour, maybe an hour from the city.
Oh, an hour?
Yeah, not too bad.
Okay, bet. For sure. Well, as of right now, yeah, I can let you know if anything changes, but as of right now, I'm down.
Just send me who the boyfriend is and like the girl is.
How would I know who they are? You mean you want to know who they are?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Send it to me.
Okay, alright.
I bet. This shit just...
Oh, the playlist went J. Cole?
I'm so sorry. It is what it is. I'm single. It is what it is. Y'all just have to get the girl content y'all want to see.
Oh, shit.
It is. Like, that's just what it is. I'm so sorry. He knows if he got to fight or not. Why would I fight another nigga? Why would I fight another nigga for... They're in a relationship. So I'm about to be a boyfriend for 2 days.
Count it up. Count it up. Count it. Count it up. Count it. Can't take it when you die, but you can't live with. Count it up. Count it up. Count it up. Count it. Count it up. Count it up. Count it up. Count it. Count it up. Count it up. Count it up. Can't take it when you die, but you can't live with big bills and big thrills and rolling around with. And for another picture, like part of my ritual.
Gaslight of hell.
So I'm on my bag. Don't do it. Respect. Count it up. Count it up. Count it up.
See, if I was Sarah, I would have got this. Versatile, think about yourself. If I was Sarah, I would have goddamn got the egg. I would have damn near got the hit, bro. Because what the fuck? Why are you over here on your knees because another nigga left?
Uno, dos, tres, big bills, big bills. I fell in love with big bills and big bills. Oh, wrong person. It mixed well. Big bills, big bills. I fell in love with big and big thrills. Tip drills, can't sit still. If it kills, it mixed well. Oh no, dude. What?
I can't. I can't, bro. I can't do this shit no more, bro. Gaslight of hell. Victoria in the chat. Oh shit. It keeps on playing.
What the fuck? How did he just...
Okay.
Where you got her carrying that heavy ass shit? Yeah, nah, that's not good.
But they...
Yeah, nah, I got a lot of you over here, you know.
Ah, too early, bruh. Too early, way too early. Oh, didn't he went back to... How did we go? Wow, you really got that.
Nigga going like that. Nigga got it covered, by the way. This little Mexican little finger.
No, I'm okay.
Little Mexican little finger. Look at her, you got her embarrassed and shit.
Why do you worry? You know I'm guessing. I know you don't love me, baby. I try to take you away from me, only over my dead body. I think I killed everybody in the game last year, man. Fuck it, I was on though. Man, Yeah, this strip club. Fuck it, I was wrong. Oh, shout out to all my people leaving tax free. Nowadays it's 6 figures when they tax me. Oh well, niggas can lose some and win some. Oh yes, the outcome is income. And then some. Shout out to Asian girls at the lights dim some. I don't know where that was sent from. Probably some bad hoes I'm about to take the hint from. You know me well, digga. Yeah. You ain't the only real. Black women like slave to the. I'm just playing the field. Yeah. Platinum in the year. Don't Michael Jordan still got his hoop airing in? All of your flows bore me. Paint drying. You know for what ain't mine. But jealousy is just love to hate at the same time. I didn't even notice I was winning. Made me feel red crowns over here and everything is alright.
Don't try to act mad at me when you said you were just gonna shoot your.
What? Yes.
You don't want me to start shooting.
You start shooting that? Man, that's the look of pain right here.
Over my
This is the pain. Look at his eyes. You think this is a smile business? That's a cry. Because if I'm going anywhere, it's probably
To send it over to David Aldridge, standing by courtside. David.
Thank you, Kevin. Mason, your game has expanded some. And what has that process been like?
You know, you just learn something new every game. You have to study your opponent and see what's going to be open. But some of the concepts have to be rebounding, defense, bringing energy in, and that's always going to get you a little bit.
Well, you had the whole package tonight, Mason. Thanks. Kevin, back to you.
Much appreciated, David. And that'll wrap it up, folks. So for our reporter, David Aldridge, and our analysts, Richard Jefferson and Greg Anthony, I'm Kevin Harlan. We thank you for watching tonight's game. And now we present the player of the game, Devin Booker.
Hey, Popeye's sandwich, Popeye food is on the way 10 minutes ago. I said, oh my gosh, Didi got these niggas on the boom. Chat, I've had this boom since January 2nd. Or whoever that nigga was. I've had this boom since my first day streaming, January 2nd, 2024. This is Grace from. What the fuck?
That's different.
Hold the fuck up! Come here.
Okay. That's different. I want some fucking kids, bro.
Come here.
Okay.
What the fuck? Bro, I do not remember this shit, bro. And how was this on a stream? Nigga, I wasn't even streaming back then. How do they find this? You can't even find this, bro. What?
That's different. I want some fucking kids, bro.
Come here.
Okay. That's different.
Bro, what? What? That's fucking crazy. Gracie looks, that's what I said, Gracie looks so much better. I think it's because she used less makeup. She looks so much better now. I don't know, bro. I don't know where this shit is from, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. That shit is...
Cause if you don't know, then now you know.
Drinking on freak shit.
Now I'm in the rose with illuminated. Took 41 shots. Change for the better. It's my vendetta. It's my vendetta. Get this shit to. God damn, we ain't even got a cocaine. We ain't even got a. Use a flip. Not a whole club. You can still get to work. Excuse me.
why did he end his stream because of that. Bro, your shit muted. Hello? You can't hear me? Hello? Y'all niggas can't hear me. Your shit muted, see silly. You need to figure out fix that fucking phone on your PC. Shit, fuck. Make sure y'all join the community. Let's go to the community. Did y'all put anything in here? Let's see. Hopefully something. Let's get to 1.3 at 1.2. Let's get to 1.3. The Don Julio sandwich is on the fucking.
I remember when I was with the Louis V with hair. They come $10,000 on the glass. I never ever thought I'd see that in my life. There was no TV, and it's getting right, man. Now I'm on TV making 60 ass a year. After helping mama out, the shit would disappear. I am not a man. I can't do this on my own. So I asked them if they would put me on, and they did put me on. They did put me on. Now we in the basement, now we working on the phone. Now we in the basement, now we working on the phone. 6.
Okay.
Working on the phones. Now we in the basement, now we working on the phones. I had to leave that shit alone, man.
Gotta make sure the Don Julio get over here. We gonna try this shit for sure. I need some chapstick on. Why is my shit?
Line blowing up, they need the whole thing. Blowing up. Mike really need the whole thing, yeah. Blowing up. Line blowing up, they need the whole thing. Blowing up, they need. Mike really need the whole thing, yeah.
The moment did you, something cut the trigger. I seen that shit. Did you even go for this one? It was cool.
I do better with the rider in my system. Oh yeah, on deck when you call me, I listen. I listen unless I've been missing. You know when I'm missing. No when I'm missing. Like when I drink, it's tradition. Like Zoe Mama, I go. Acting like I'm missing. I'm missing. I am not Escobar. This was written. And I had visions of this life I'm living since I was Jimmy. Let's just go and get it.
Over 2 little ass boys.
I'm going out. They need the whole thing. Going up.
Bro, that nigga is in 15th
Might
grade.
really need the whole thing. Yeah.
Bro, that's fucked up. Lotto and sexy.
I think Shake fell out the rotation, ain't gonna lie. Line blowing up, they need the whole thing. Blowing up, they need. Might really need the whole thing. Line blowing up, they need the whole thing. Blowing up, they need. What in the fuck?
This is what's low key running the young generation, the young girl.
Who did they start before?
They low key top 3 right now. Who else?
Shit, they probably gonna go here. I ain't gonna lie. They probably gonna go that. They probably gonna go that right there. I ain't gonna lie.
That's the big 3 right there.
I can't believe he got hurt his first. That's just fucking unfortunate. Sincerely unfortunate.
Whenever he's at crib, I was like, bro, like, school would be some crazy shit. You need, like, he said, goddamn, Toby Maguire. So that's so crazy. Speaking shit into existence.
I listen unless I've been mixing. You know when I'm mixing.
Like, you, like, that is having conversations.
That's when I drink it's tradition. I know you mama go eat honest. I when I just go and it was in. I be at the vision of their life I'm living since I was Jimmy. All I had to do is go and get it. And now you're blowing up. blowing up, ain't the whole thing. Blowing up. Mike really need the whole thing. Yeah. Blowing up. I'm blowing up, ain't need the whole thing. Blowing up, they need. Mike really need the whole thing. Yeah. Lebanon James. What the fuck was that? What? Yo. And you want my spot? That's true. That's true.
I didn't even know the team was the teams until I started seeing it. Oh my god! If I just disappeared, got it. No, I didn't. I got you. Listen, what the fuck? I didn't even know the team was the teams until I started seeing it. Damn, I just disappeared, got it. No, I didn't.
Do it this time. Cold war in your mind. Yeah, it took my time. It took my time. Crept from behind.
What is Cam doing tonight?
Let the shine. Cold world. Like around with your girl. Nah, I'm out here trying to. Cause then how I live it. And I ain't trying to. So I ain't got an image to uphold. What up? It can't even tell my. Records. Top game on lock, but the rain gon' stop.
I'm only fucking with dogs, apes, snakes. All my niggas is animals. She wanna fuck on the clips, the boyfriend, a bitch. She ain't never been with a handler. I don't smoke. I like to chase shit down, so I run out of shields and stamina. Fuck around, clap me a nigga on Sunday, then back Monday, catch me in Canada. Catch niggas coming
For I wait,
right
you know it. I saw the tape. I saw the tape. I saw the tape. Damn, Giannis ain't playing, bro. He was one of them boys that gonna set the tone, set the tone, set the tone, set the tone. Coming off the last record, you come to fuck the record just to off these records. That's the first my last adventure. You had to mention for the radio. That's just the way it go. Cause it's that New Jersey Drake. That's the way it go. Heavy air play all day. Rap like this for all of my bro. Shit happened to me. I reached points Dwight Howard couldn't reach. Prince I came and throw flowers at my feet. I can go an hour on this beat. My mentor, but that's it about.